Dan and Tom at Sharpening Supplies here, and today we're going to talk about the new Tormek T-1 kitchen knife sharpener. So Tom, what can you tell us about this?
Yeah, this is Tormek's first dedicated knife sharpener for home chefs. I do really like the look of it. It's got this lovely little oak handle, kind of cast zinc body. I just think it looks really nice.
Why is this a good choice for home chefs?
It's nice and compact and it looks great, so you can just set it out on your countertop and leave it there so it's ready for use at a moment's notice. It's dedicated kitchen knife sharpener, so it will handle pretty much any kind of chef's knife that you've got at home. The angle guide here is really easy to use, goes from a really slicey 8 degrees up to quite a durable 22 degrees. Nice little felt lining in there to protect your knives. So it's got this nice little magnet here that will collect the iron filings, keep your kitchen clean.
What kind of knives, what size knives can you sharpen on the T1?
Pretty much any chef's knife you're likely to find in a home kitchen. So anything from a minimum of 1/2 inch tall up to a maximum of 2.4 inches tall.
Okay.
Outside of that, it won't fit inside the knife guide.
Okay.
Also, it can handle knives that are up to 1/5 of an inch thick, which is a pretty chunky knife.
It's a pretty hefty knife.
Yeah. And then, because of the way the guide works, any length of knife will fit in there.
Okay.
As I mentioned before, this handy little guide will sharpen from a really fine and slicey 8 degrees up to a durable 22 degrees. So if your knives fall within that range, this will put a new edge on them really quick.
So we talked about the design and what it can handle. How is it used? Can you give us a little walkthrough?
Yeah, excellent. It's super simple to use. There's no assembly required. Straight out of the box, it is ready to go. So you've got this attached angle guide here, and it's got angles from 8 to 22 degrees. We're going to be sharpening this knife, and so I already know that this knife is about 15 degrees. And if you don't know the angle of your knife, we'll tell you how to find that, how to find the angle of the bevel. So I'm going to set this 15 degrees. And that's it. Super simple, really quick to set up. Turn it on.
Nice and quiet.
Really quiet. Runs at about 45 decimals, so a little louder than a whisper, and as you can tell, quieter than your normal conversation. Knife will go in here. And then just with gentle pressure, not much more than the weight of the knife, we're going to push it down until it comes into contact with the diamond stones, and we're going to pull it back following the shape of the blade. And we're going to do a few passes. This knife was already fairly sharp, so how long to spend on this really depends on what kind of condition your knives were to begin with. This one's pretty good, so as with all sharpening, what you want to do is you want to raise a burr on one side. And then once I've done that, once you can feel for a burr, then you can just turn it around. The other angle, the other bevel. Want to do the same number of passes on this side as I did the other. Once again, trying to raise a burr all the way along.
Okay. Great. So that covers the diamond wheel.
Yep.
So we've got this other wheel over here. What's this wheel about?
Yeah, so this wheel is the honing wheel. So the diamonds, hardest thing, they'll sharpen up any kind of steel that you've got. And then this honing wheel, it's already got a compound embedded in there. Okay. Don't have to worry about that. You want to make sure though that the wheel's spinning away from you when you use it. And so this is designed to just remove that burr that we've created on the diamond stone. I want to just lower this gently onto the top of the wheel, trying to look for where it catches the bevel, and then I'm going to pull it back slightly and then move along the wheel. Nice and slow.
Are you using a lot of pressure here?
Nope. Just light pressure, just enough to kind of hold it in place. Trying to listen and feel for when the burr is removed. And then do the other side. see there's a bit of a burr left there. A little more. There's a couple of ways to check for a burr, to check that the burr has been removed rather. Sometimes you can see it if the light's right.
Mm-hmm.
One method that I like is to very carefully run my nail down, and you can feel a little bit of roughness if the burr is still attached to the knife.
Okay. So, be honest, that method always gives me the willies.
Yeah.
Is there anything kind of less nail involved?
Yes,
way to
yeah,
check?
yeah. There are methods you can use where your fingers aren't quite so close to the edge. So the classic one would be the paper slice.
Sure.
So you can see if this cleanly slices paper. That's not just something that looks cool. You're trying to feel for if the knife catches on the paper, and then try and be aware of what part is catching, because that's a bit of the burr left over and you might need some more time left on the honing wheel.
So you mentioned before that there's a way to find the angle on your knife if you don't know the number of the angle.
Yeah, there's a really easy method. Most kitchen knives are going to be somewhere between 15 to 20 degrees. The smaller the number, the thinner that edge is, so it will slice a little better, but it will be less durable. So that wider number, a little less slicey, but it will be a more durable edge, less prone to damage.
So maybe for chopping, a steeper angle, and for slicing, the shallower angle.
Exactly, yeah. And so for this Japanese knife, I'm going to make a guess that it's going to be at somewhere on that slicier end of that 15 to 20. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take a marker and I'm just going to run it down the middle of the bevel, and this will mark both sides at once. So I've now got marker on my bevel. And so this will make it really easy for me to see where on the bevel the stone is removing material.
Sure.
So first I'm going to set this to 15 degrees. Nice and simple. Done. Turn it on. And I'm just going to sharpen a section near the handle. So I've got marker left here away from the edge.
Sure. Okay.
So I've removed most of it, so I was really close, but that means the angle was a little too steep. I need to go narrower. So I'm going to change it from 15 to 14 degrees. And try sharpening on a different section to see how that does.
And you're just doing a very light pass.
Yeah,
there.
light pass. I can still see a little bit, so maybe another degree. And that's the basic principle of doing that. I would walk it through those degrees, and then if I had marker left closest to the edge, I would have been using too narrow an angle. So 15 would have been too narrow. I would have wanted to step up to 16, 17, 18 degrees. Cool. And that's how you find a bevel angle on your knife using a marker in the T1 if you don't know what it is. Once you know your bevel angle might be worth noting it down, then it will be really quick to just remove the minimal amount of steel from your knives when you're sharpening. It's a lot quicker and your knives will last longer.
This is the new Tormek T1 kitchen knife sharpener. For yours, go to sharpeningsupplies.com.